Gonna be,
We're
gonna
up.
be,
Good morning,
we're
Vinnie.
up. Gonna be. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. And
How are you?
good morning to all. I'm a little sleepy. I've been having trouble sleeping. So I wasn't here on Monday. My apologies to our loyal fans who were here on Monday wondering what happened to that idiot. And it's a short story, just no sleep. Body.
Well, I think most of our audience, because we did do an audience survey, most of our people are 65 to legally dead. So, and a lot of legally deads. We are,
Definitely.
in fact, we are leading the league in legally dead people.
It's always been that. It's always been that way with our fan base. The legally dead loved us.
All right, now I'm going to take issue with you right here because when did this phrase fan base come into being? I mean, our fans. Why do we need fan base? What is a fan base?
You don't have a fan base. The fan tips right over.
I don't. For hundreds of years, we didn't have a fan base. We had fans. We had baseball fans and football fans and soccer fans and gambling fans. And now all of a sudden, here we are in the 21st century, and we have something called a fan base. And it's used by seemingly now everybody. And what bothers me about it, not only does it allude to something that
it may not exist.
We don't know what it is. I mean, what is a fan base? Or I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody who made up the word knows what it is. But it also seems to point toward the word base, which is, the word we most commonly hear about President Slapdick, that he is appealing to his base. And as a fan, I don't want anything to do with anything that may even intimate for a moment that I am a fan of anything that President Slapdick is doing right now.
In fact, can you imagine feeling better every time you hear something that he has done, something that renews your faith in humanity? Cannot possibly be reinforced by anything that Trump does, because everything he does is dark, negative, counterproductive.
It's a mess. As I said in our show description this morning, this guy is taking the phrase "life is a not this guy, but right now America has taken the phrase "life is a bowl of cherries" and turned it into life is a cheap $1.49 Vegas buffet with Louisiana tap water. I mean, it more and more every day seems like we're descending into a sewer.
And happily doing it. This is I looked at Marjorie Taylor Greene this morning, lying to her fan base, and she did it willingly, saying that she was supporting her president in his work, and can't understand why her constituents who voted her into the office that she holds are concerned about Social Security and Medicare and the Department of Education and world peace and people being swept off the streets of America and sent to prisons in other countries without due process, and federal judges being demeaned for doing their job, and the Supreme Court being roasted now individually for upholding the rule of law in America, and the depths, the lengths, the distance to which these people are willing to go to be destructive, to be hateful, and to be god-awful human beings seems to be bottomless, seems to be limitless, seems to have its own base. And it's one of the most fascinating turnarounds in any nation of any chapter in history. You won't find a group of people willing to do this to themselves based on the word and the actions and the beliefs of a terrible, terrible leader.
Well, that's the sadness of it to me, is that there's a large group of people in this country that are willing to do it to themselves, that are willing to and take the rest of us with them.
Yes,
For
and,
the ride.
and deny what's going on.
And say, well, this is okay, that we can pick people up off the street and people in uniforms with no names on them, no name tags, no who they are or what they are. They're basically the Savak. I don't know if people remember Savak, but that was the Iranian secret police that were in the employ of the Shah of Iran in the 70s and 60s and 50s, who would just show up at somebody's house if they said something against the Shah, and they would be taken away and never heard from again. And eventually, parts of their bodies would be found in all different places. They'd fly a plane.
Now I know there's a lot of talk in recent weeks about the federal workforce and how it has to be reduced and how those jobs have to go and how it's a terrible strain on the American economy to pay federal workers their job. But no one complains about the jackbooted thugs, the secret police, the ICE guys, the fellows who are in the black uniforms who just show up in various places, including LA County schools, and demand entry, whose job it is to take people off the streets, to spirit them away, put them in handcuffs, disappear them, and next time you turn around, they're in a foreign country, in a unregulated penitentiary, and never to be returned because they're not facing charges. No crime has been committed.
Is that what we want? Is that what I mean, is it really that half the people in this country, let's not even say everybody, we know, but are the numbers of people that want that kind of structure, to live under that kind of structure, are there that many of them in this country that believe that that is the right way to live? Have we been going under the illusion all these years that freedom and due process?
They'd be happier. Wouldn't you be happier if you were free?
That this is all a fallacy. That really the way the world is that it's the survival of the fittest. This idea that the .com people have, that the media, social media people have, that it's a free for all out there, and you get your ass kicked, and there should be no rules, and the only thing that matters is winning, not any of the beauty of life, not a flower or a path or a sunset. That it's all just about you belong here because you're a certain color or you're a certain breeding. Or have I missed this much, Michael? Have I missed that so many people in this country want this?
It's been going on for about 90 days. So you didn't miss anything before this. It came with Donald Trump's second term, and we may never be able to get rid of it. I don't know how this is ever going to, I don't know how this is going to be rectified then. I just don't know how it's ever going to be put right. But it needs to be done starting today. And these people don't want freedom. They don't want law. They don't want anything except a happy Trump. And he can't be happy unless everyone agrees with him. And even then, he can't be happy unless the members of his cabinet start the day by saying what they're thankful for. I'm thankful for Donald Trump because he does this. I love Donald Trump because he does that. I love the way he ties his long red tie. I love the fact that Elon Musk can get him to say and do anything. I like J.D. Vance because he drops the sports awards on the steps of the White House, and
douchebag.
And nobody from Ohio State said a word.
What a douchebag! I mean, so we're living. I mean, we're basically, and again, I get into that place that we talked about on Friday, where I get sick of talking about it. Okay, we know what they do.
It makes you ill.
They're proud of it. They're proud of what they do. They're proud of the disruption that they cause. They're proud of the fact, not only are they proud of it, but this group of people that believe in them are proud of it. How do you attack that? How do you
And they want,
straighten that out? That's the answer that nobody can seem to give me. Is how do you do it? Where are the minds? Where are the Democrats who run the party, who stand up and say, this is what we got to do. We got to show up this strong at this place at this time. We got to do it. We got to get everybody and stop working. We got to get everybody and shut down the railroads. We got to get everybody and do this and do that. And where's the plan? What's the plan, Stan? That's the thing that now I look for. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. I'm no Mario Savio. Okay, I don't know how to do it. I don't even know if he knew how to do
Mario
it.
Savio.
Go back, kids, and look and Google him. But that's what we need right now. Where is our Mario Savio? Where is our leader of the free speech movement? Where is the person who is going to stand up and say, this is all wrong?
Well, so far it's just been Bernie.
Believe that to be true. Where is our Donald Trump?
Well, he's in Montana this morning at the University of Montana. Bernie and AOC got the only organized effort right now to keep this in the front, on the front page. But people don't need Bernie Sanders to be organized and angry. The Republicans are doing a good job of alienating their own fans and voters and supporters one at a time by threatening the very things that they think are important, by threatening and endangering elements of their life that they counted on, depended upon, and believed that they had earned by virtue of just being an American, by virtue of just having Social Security, by virtue of just having lived 65 plus years in this nation and had navigated all the twists and turns of being a citizen. And now at the end, you find out that it was a hoax after all. That Donald Trump's going to take it away from you if he feels like it. And what he's going to do with it, unannounced. It changes every day. People can't understand what the tariffs are all about because they're never the same 2 days in a row. Trump can't keep his mind on what he's doing because his mind does not stay on what he's doing. His mind does not function that way. He's a flibberty gibbet. What he likes to do is sit in the White House with a head of state next to him who agrees with everything he says and will offer no comment whatsoever while Donald Trump just fields questions based on the whim of the reporters. If he'll allow reporters in. Maybe if you're from the Associated Press or from NPR or NBC, you won't be allowed to ask a question or understand the answer.
Well, how much of this do people take? I mean, I don't know. The question I have is the same question I had on. I went through a whole weekend, moved around. I went through everything that I've gone through over the past couple of weeks here with moving, and not feeling everything that I've gone through over the last couple of weeks. Still has all come down to one thing: how are we letting this happen? Why are we letting this happen? And what can we do about it? Where are the leaders? Where are the people that can help take us out of it? I mean, I'm willing to do the work. I'll call up my congressperson, but my congressperson's too worried about going out and raising money so that they can stay the congressperson. My senators are too worried about raising money so that they can stay the senators and not working on what's good for this country. Nobody's working on what's good for this country. Everybody seems to be fucking working on what it will put us in a deeper hole. It's like they're spraying water on the sides of the hole so that it'll collapse in faster on us. That's all I see. Now, I can go out there and I can say, somebody can say to me, "Oh, look at the bright side of things," but there's no bright side.
No, there's no
The
bright
bright
side to the events of the last 80 days.
Yeah, people helping people across the street, people being kind to other people, the random acts of kindness that we encounter every day in life. We haven't gotten to the point yet where if you cross Highway 99 out here, that somebody's going to aim a truck at you. But it seems like we're getting close to that. It seems like we're getting to a point where we might start to see stuff like that. And what do we do on this holy week? On this week where we're all supposed to, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to examine. There's supposed to be a renewal. You're supposed to look at yourself and look at the world around you and say, what can I sacrifice? What can I give up? What can I do as a human being to make the world better, to save not me, but others around me? Where is that? Am I going to go to church on Sunday and find it? Am I going to sequester myself Friday for 3 hours on Friday afternoon for Good Friday and find that, like the Catholics tell me to do, like we were taught when we were kids, to stay silent from 12 to 3? And I always wondered, is that West Coast time or East Coast time? It really confused the crap out of me when I first moved out here.
Just 12 to 3, that's all you need to know. Anytime there's a 12, you go quiet, and when there's a 3, you can talk.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. Is it supposed to be the same time that Jesus was up on the cross? That's the 3 hours that you're supposed to look at out of the whole year of Catholicism, of Christianity, and look up and say, there is the person who sacrificed himself to die for our sins. Well, we are committing sins, not we, but many of us are committing sins every day. There's a sin a minute at the White House.
I should hope so. Yeah.
Go down the hall and you can hear them coming out of doors. These are people that would have no idea what to do on Friday. It'd be over at Quinn's Chili Bowl, eating meat. So I just it perplexes me in a way that things that have come in my life before, like the baseball strike and the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, we're on a footing with the Cuban Missile Crisis right now. Many people weren't around for it. You and I were. You remember it, don't you?
I do. I don't know that we can compare the two right now, because we were facing then a traditional enemy. Right now, we're making enemies as fast as we can. We want something beyond a traditional enemy. What do we want China to do right now? What do we want them to do? We want them to engage with us in negotiations? No, we want them to be as pissed off as they possibly can. We want them to say, that's it, we're taking Taiwan. We're going to see what you can do about it. It'll be ours by noon, and we want to know what you intend to do about it. Let me know what your actions are going to be, and we'll respond in kind. We are in a state of war brought about by you. You wanted a trade war that became a military action? You got it.
Well, I thought we spent all that time, all these years, so that we wouldn't get into a war with China, so that we would build up their economy and other countries' economies, so that not that they would be on an equal footing with us, but on a footing that said, you don't have to go to war. The economics of going to war will be so prohibitive that it won't make any sense to go to war. That the only sensible thing to do will be to, figure out a way to continue a relationship and for the mutual beneficial existence of both of our societies, that we'll be able to continue. That you make these parts here and we make these parts here and we put them together somewhere else, and everybody benefits. The living, the standard of living is what I'm looking for. The standard of living rises. I mean, if you had a country of a billion peasants, as J.D. Vance calls them, if you had a country of a billion peasants over in China, wouldn't be hard for a leader to say, well, why don't we take all these peasants and give them guns and send them over to America? But if these billion peasants have jobs and you refer to them as human beings and give them dignity and self-respect, then maybe they're not so quick to pick up those guns. Maybe they're thinking, well, if we go to war, it's going to hurt us as much as it's going to hurt them.
Unfortunately, the Republicans don't have these moments of reflection where they take a minute to figure out what's the worst case scenario. If we do A and B, what happens to us? What happens to the world? What happens to our relationship? What happens? Have we broken something that we can't fix next week? Have we broken something in our haste that we can't negotiate our way out of, that we can't fix with conferences, meetings, and agreements?
Yeah. People better think about that. People better, somewhere along the line, people better think about this, because this is what we have. Now, again, I don't know what we do to fix it. I mean, the only thing I can think about is that you impeach the president. I don't know that you have enough people. I'm sure you don't have enough people right now to impeach the president. The Republican Party is too power hungry to do something like that. And on top of it, I don't know that is the right thing to do right now. Because what would that cause? If you impeach Donald Trump, what do you get? You get J.D. Vance as president. Who has faith in this guy? I don't know that his wife has faith in him. You have faith in Mike Johnson?
Mike Johnson could drop the National Football Award just as easily as J.D. Vance. I see them both as award droppers.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are weasels. Being led by a Pied Piper. No, but nobody's going to play the flute like Trump is. That's obvious. So,
but like everything Trump does, he announces that he's going to play the flute, but when it comes time to play the flute, he realizes he doesn't know how to play the flute, and rather than admit that,
give me 2 weeks to learn it,
and I'll be the best flute player you've ever seen.
I'll be an unbelievable flute player. I'll
play the flute like never before.
Look like he's an amateur.
Herbie Mann will.
Jethro Tull. Guy could front Jethro Bodine. I'm scared, Michael.
Yeah, we're in a pickle.
Because we're in a pickle, and usually when we get in pickles, it's easy to look at it and say, well, go out and trade for a bat. And I feel like we're the Seattle Mariners right now. The cry has been to management since 1993. Go get me a couple of hitters. And here we are in 2025 And what's
still need a couple of hitters.
Go get
we
me
need some hitters.
Go get me a couple of people that can hit the ball. And we haven't done it yet.
The Giants went 2 out of 3 with New York. They're on their way to, looks like they're going to get 3 out of 4 with Philadelphia. It's a team that cannot be defined by the players as a home run hitting, power laden lineup, and yet all you have to do to win games is just keep hitting the damn ball. And the turnaround with my team has just been almost impossible to describe, because it's in many ways some of the guys from last year, and they're not playing like the Giants used to play. They're not playing like they don't want to score runs or have no idea how to score runs. The turnaround has been magnificent. Of course, if Donald Trump means the end of the world, I understand that we'll never see the World Series for this year. But that's what Donald Trump endangers. He endangers everything. Little League games, the pleasure you get from enjoying baseball, the once honorable job of visiting the White House to vouchsafe your award and have the president thank you for a successful season. All of that's thrown into a cocked hat, as they say, because we've stopped being ourselves. We've stopped living like Americans. We've stopped acting like citizens of the world. We're the troublemakers. We're what's wrong with the proposition. We're the example of how not to do it. And we threaten Venezuela and Panama and Greenland, and we're going to build hotels in Gaza. We've got little schemes all over the planet in the short presidential madhouse that we've had, and none of it makes sense. None of it adds up to anything except trouble for everybody. Everybody who's living and working and enjoying their existence on this planet is in danger and is in jeopardy because of Donald Trump and the dark, terrible people who follow him.
Well, he can't run this country. I mean, literally can't run this country. How in the world do we expect him to run, or how in the world does he expect to run Greenland or the Panama Canal or any of these places? I mean, he literally can't run this country. He's run it in the space in 90 days. He's running into the ground. We are a great nation who all of a sudden, after 3 months of his presidency, is looking around trying to figure out who we are, what we are, and how did we get into this mess. I'm sure that you and I are not the only two people who are saying, how did we get into this mess and how do we get out of it? Positive that we're not the only two.
Well, there's no way out of it with Donald Trump in power. And I'd like to have a word with the founding fathers who put this whole system together, because under certain conditions, it does not work. And we're watching it right now, how the checks and balances no longer function as they should. We're going to find out this hour or sometime today if the judge in the case of the disappeared individual, Mr. Garcia, who is apparently not in the gang and taken by accident and acknowledged a mistake, our government has promised to the world that he will not be returned to his family because we just don't feel like it. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to keep him in prison for the rest of his life if we like, because it was a mistake, our mistake, not his. And the problem with that is the court ordered one thing and it didn't get it. Now, what's that court going to do? And if that court cannot enforce its laws and its rulings and its insistence on complaints from the people who have brought their cases before that court, then we're in terrible, terrible straits, because that will be the end of the rule of law, and Trump will never, ever listen to a court order again.
Right. And so far, from what I am looking at here, a judge in Washington has found that James Boasberg has written in a 46-page decision that the actions on March 15th demonstrate a willful disregard for his order that barred the government from transferring certain migrants into Salvadorian custody. So there is probable cause to hold the Trump administration criminal contempt over removals of the Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. The problem is you can't hold a president in contempt. and he's the one who's making the order. So you have to make a decision here, and somebody has to figure out, do you listen to the president? Who does the pilot of the plane listen to? Okay, the plane is being piloted.
Who is the pilot? Yeah.
Right. Well, that's it. Is it the CIA? Is it friends of Trump? Is it Peter Navarro's friends? Is it Roger? What's his name? Who's flying the plane? And who are they listening to? Are they listening to a federal judge in the Supreme Court, or are they listening to the President of the United States? And can the President of the United States, a question that was asked and made fun of so many times during this whole Supreme Court thing a year and change ago, is does the president have the right to order one of his enemies assassinated, and is he liable for that? Can he be held for that?
Legally responsible for the order.
Legally responsible. Can he be culpable for that? And the answer seems to be no. That he could, if he wanted to this afternoon, order the army to go out and assassinate Joe Biden, and he'd be within his perfect rights, giving him the power to be the only person in the United States of America that can do that, making him a king.
Well, he's getting away with murder right now. That's for sure. Bloody murder.
And I seem to remember from my history classes, I wasn't here for it, but I seem to remember that's why a lot of people left England and came over here. And a lot of people left Italy and came over here, and Ireland and came over here, and Greece and came over here, because you had somebody with the absolute power to do those things. Where do we seek asylum? If I'm an American this afternoon and I'm saying I've had enough, where do I go to seek political asylum?
I don't think there is a country that wants Americans right now. Nobody wants us.
I'll find that one.
We have worn out our welcome in tout suite. That's what we did. We turned up the heat on ourselves. We function well under those conditions. We're boiling like the frogs that get cooked 1 degree at a time. There's nothing right now in our future that looks promising in terms of how we're going to regain control of our society. We're victimized by the brown shirts, by the toughs in the street, by the secret police, by the willful idiots like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just say, I'm loyal to my president, not my constituency. I owe you nothing. I owe all my power, my loyalty, and my attention to my president. That's who I'm working with, not you. You're just Americans, and they're a dime a dozen. We got a guy who's sent to us by God, who is visited upon us.
That's the best one of all.
Yeah, this is all the work of God.
That there are people who actually believe that Donald Trump was sent by God.
Boy, did we piss off that God.
To save us. That he is the savior, that he is the person who will save the American way of life.
All the winning. There's just too much winning going on. You're going to love it. The best people are working on it.
It's sickening.
God knows how much this coffee that I'm drinking is going to cost next week. Because I can't tell you how much it's going to cost, because it's impossible to tell you what the tariffs are.
Yeah. I mean, they've turned tariffs into a punchline, a joke. Except when you go to the supermarket, then they're no joke. Except if you go to buy a car, or you need building materials to put a house up or an extension on your room, and you find out that nothing's made in America anymore. And even if they enforced 100% tariffs, 150% tariffs on anything, it'd be years before it would have an impact. I mean, all these, you hear all these people say, well, the tariffs are going to be good. They're going to bring jobs back to America. Well, what the frick do you think a car is going to cost when it's completely built in America?
The price of the car that you can't afford because of the tariffs that you insisted on charging prevent the man who used to build those cars from having a job. He won't be building anything.
Do you think that today's young generation aspire to go to work at a factory? Do you think that there are kids who are going to I don't know Sacco and Vanzetti High School in Bordertown, Ohio? Do you think that they are?
There's a Sacco and Vanzetti in Schenectady too.
Yeah, it's one of most cities, right? It's the Sacco and Vanzetti High School and the Judge Crater Junior High School. Do you think
It's like
that
Punch and Judy, except different.
Yeah, do you think there are kids that are going to school today saying, boy, I can't wait to get that factory job? I can't wait to do, we got that picture of Grandpa in the coming out of the coal mine in West Virginia back in 1963, and he's got black lung and he's got a Pell Mell hanging out of his mouth. And a pair of overalls on that have the monkey on them. What was it, Ben Orr or whatever? The
can't bust them.
And he's standing there with a bunch of his friends holding his hard hat with the flashlight on the top, and he's saying, and the kid is looking at that and saying, "Hey, Ma, when can I be like Grandpa?
When can I get in on some of this company town stuff?
When can I get the black lung money?" Do you think
I want my slice of the American.
Am I missing something?
You're missing the American dream because it doesn't exist anymore.
Am I driving through Eastern Washington and I'm stopping on some farm and there's a couple of kids getting off of a school bus and they're looking at their father who has to get up at 3:00 every morning and work till 9:00 at night, plowing the fields and fixing the tractor and doing this and doing that on the farm so that they can make enough money to hang on to that piece of land?
So they'll have to figure out who's going to buy the cherries because the tariffs have screwed up the cherry market so badly that the market that was insured and cultivated and developed for generations just disappears overnight. Yeah, who's going to buy your cherries in Washington State? We got our own
cherry blossoms over here. We don't need your.
We like yours. We bought them last year, but we're not buying them this year.
But not if you're going to charge us 150% to send our transistor radios over there or whatever they're sending over.
Good luck. Lithuania's not going to buy your cherries. They don't care. We liked them. We were your best customer. What happened to our relationship? Ask yourself, because you guys are the ones that screwed it up.
Yeah, we bought your cherries because we knew that you guys, we thought you were good people. You were United States. We wanted to be associated with you. We wanted to be next to you. We wanted to stand with you because we thought that you would stand with us against tyranny and against all of the things that we had been through in this country, that we went through so that you didn't go through them in your country.
And what we'd like right now is in America
wouldn't fight them there.
Check out what we did to our good pals in Ukraine. We'll do the same to you.
Yeah,
it's coming.
The Ukrainians fought the Russians there so that you wouldn't be fighting them basically in the streets of New York.
Or London, Paris, and Rome.
Right. And now that you've handed the Ukraine over to Vladimir Putin. What's to stop him from going into Poland?
He's not listening to Trump anymore anyway. He can't even get into the bargaining table.
He's laughing. He's saying the United States, they're a third world country. Well, we're going to listen to that for. We might as well listen to Peru.
Ain't going to happen.
We might as well listen to Tibet.
Everything you know is wrong, Vinnie. Everything you know and banked on and relied upon has become wrong. Everything.
So I'm open for suggestions. I'm open for somebody to tell me.
But be careful in this situation. Be careful who you ask for suggestions, because you'll get somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Robert Kennedy Jr. You'll get some pie in the sky maniac who's going to fix autism. He's going to figure out what causes it and put a stop to it.
Yeah, he's got the answer. You know, I love these people
Not yet.
that have the answer to everything, but yet they're not going to tell us until something happens.
Can't tell you now. Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow.
You know how you tell somebody knows shit? By asking them if they can tell you what it is that they know. And they don't tell you. Because anybody that knows something about something is usually pretty ready to tell you.
Except in situations where those who know don't tell, and those who tell don't know.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, Michael, I sit here and I say to myself, well, I'm just going to take care of my little corner of the world.
It's not that way anymore, though, is it?
Hope that everything turns out right. And I am slowly but surely losing faith that anything is going to turn out good for us or right for us. I've always had this feeling in my life that the way we've acted as a society is going to catch up with us someday.
We're going to outsmart ourselves.
That the way we've, living beyond our means and all of the different things that we have done, and I am as guilty of it as anybody else, that someday there's going to be a price to pay.
Except we don't get to decide the price. We think that we're so strong that we can decide what the price is and the terms. This time we've outsmarted ourselves. The terms are now out of control, and we've turned our weapons on ourselves, and we are the enemy.
And that ringing cash register bell is getting louder and louder.
Ding, 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 ding.
The ding, ding, ding of the National Cash Register is getting, and you're not going to be able to slip your credit card in and put it on a piece of plastic. You're going to have to come to the place with cold hard cash.
And the banks and corporations have made their deal with the devil, so they can't help you because they're afraid of Donald Trump. Have you ever heard of law firms making deals with no case involved? A deal to provide pro bono work for a candidate or an individual or a president for you sometime in the future, where they have to respond to your needs, whatever they may be, at another time. Who ever heard of such a thing? It's beyond the kind of deal that a loan shark would make on the streets of Queens. Nobody would sign a deal like that, and yet these law firms are doing it.
He's going to get his money back one way or the other.
One way or the other.
He's going to get it in cash, or he's going to get it in flesh.
And it's a fact.
And if he gets it in flesh, you're still going to owe the cash. Just because you get it to flesh doesn't, we always see those in the movies, the loan shark comes and he beats up the guy, and the guy winds up in a hospital, and, then that's it. But that's not it.
That's not it.
He's still loan shark the money.
Now you knew the new vig for last week and this week.
and now you got a beating. So now you can't go out and earn because your leg is broken.
Well, you should have thought of this.
ego is
You
broken.
should have known. And you made a deal on the sidewalk that's going to cost you for some time to come.
You better get used to doing Uber Eats until 4:00 in the morning, because that's the only way you're getting out of that hole, pal. And they'll be happy to give you a brand new Tesla to do your deliveries in.
On a dark night,
on lots all over America.
in a situation where if it gets a little chilly, you can just turn the batteries on, and it'll heat up you, the neighborhood, the Tesla, everything will be on fire.
Heat up the factory. You park 10 of them together.
Where are the Tesla factories? There's one in Fremont, right?
One in Fremont, one in Texas. And then I think the rest of them are one in Mexico, I believe. And then there's
It's going to be
Germany.
Those Teslas will cost twice as much as the ones made in California because of the tariffs.
Well, no, because he's going to get an exemption from the tariffs. He ain't stupid.
Oh, it's Leon. That's right.
Yeah, Leon ain't stupid. Leon's going to get an exemption so that his cars will sell for less than General Motors cars or Ford's cars.
And the government societies and departments that he's cutting will be buying them and paying cash.
And every government car you see will be a Tesla. I mean, if the government's going to get ugly, they may will drive ugly cars.
In California, they had a weekend rally at a couple of Tesla dealerships, and one of the things they offered was free debadging. They would take the Tesla logo off the back of your car and give you another one. You could make it any kind of car that you wanted.
You still know what it is, unless there was one body shop I saw. I forget where I saw it. A body shop that was offering to reconfigure the car so it would look like a Toyota. or personally, I would pick like a 62 Rambler. You know, make it look like something cool. But they'll hang panels on the car, I guess, for you, so it looks different than a Tesla. It doesn't immediately look like a Tesla. I mean, it'll cost you some money, but you don't want to drive your kid to school in a Tesla these days.
I was behind a Tesla yesterday that had a no Elon sign on it. There's a circle with the word Elon with a red line through it. And you put that on the back of your car next to your license plate. And people say, well, there's a man who got taken, but he's still driving the car because he's got to get to work. I understand.
Well, nobody wants them. You can't. They're not taking trades in on them. No dealer wants to take it. You can go to the auction. There's Teslas all over the place. You buy them for single digits. You buy them.
Nobody will take it in a trade.
You just have to spend 6 digits. They can get them for 4.
And these are the brains that are running everything now. These are the ones that are shutting down the Department of Education and Social Security.
That's who Trump thinks are wise business people. Those are the people who Trump has entrusted. Our president has entrusted with the economic growth of this country.
And the future of America is in their hands, their grubby paws.
Those are the people who...
And are we right in thinking there's no way to stop them? No way on earth to stop them?
My question at the beginning of the show, Michael, the question I've been asking now for, weeks. What can we do to stop them? And the answer just keeps coming up. Nobody has come up with. I mean, You know, I actually very seriously considered driving out to Montana today to go to the Bernie Sanders rally, Bernie Sanders and AOC. You know, our good friend Nancy Walton is out there, and I'd
I
say, you
saw
know,
that.
if nothing else,
I saw
I
her
get
post
this
on Facebook.
and see her and take a ride out there and feel some companionship, some fellowship from a lot of people gathered in a state that doesn't think like I do,
Feel
thinking
some
like
hope.
I do. It's a unique situation. And I said to myself, by the way, it's broadcasting. I think it's broadcasting if they haven't pulled their licenses yet on NPR and PBS. Local Montana station is PBS station is broadcasting. I forget what the name of the station is, but statewide it's being broadcast. And I suspect that you can get it in Washington and Idaho as well.
Before somebody tries to pull the plug on that.
And then I said to myself, but yeah, if I go, what am I going to hear? I'm going to drive 600 miles, drive all night, pull up in Missoula, which is where I think it is, Missoula.
I
And
believe
what am
you're
I
right.
going to hear?
What would you hear? You're going to hear about oligarchy.
Who got screwed out of his shot at the presidency. And he's going to say some pretty good stuff. And I'm going to get pissed off because he's not president, because the Democratic Party, the people in the Democratic Party decided that Hillary Clinton would win that race.
Well, you know what it's like when politicians figure stuff out before it actually happens. Here's how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. You're going to vote for me or for him or whoever I tell you to vote for.
Yeah. And then again, Democrats had a shot. And what did they do? They came up with somebody who they hid for 3 years. You couldn't find Kamala Harris for 3 years if you looked in the phone book, if you put an APB out for her.
That was Joe's idea, I guess. It didn't work out very well. And the people who supported him within the West Wing.
Well, yeah, they certainly didn't want her looking presidential. Because he wasn't toward the end. I mean, he did some great things, don't get me wrong. The first 2 years of his presidency were great years. But then what happened?
He aged
It all
out.
started to catch up with him. Now you can't find him for love of money. They're keeping him hidden locked in a room somewhere.
His speech yesterday was lackluster. Asking the rhetorical question, who do they think they are? They know who they are. They don't think about anything.
Yeah,
they're not giving any thought to who they are or what the downside of their work is.
They don't care what they think, what you think about who they are. They're not thinking about who they think who they are.
In fact, the people that got them, the people whose votes they needed to get those jobs, they don't care about them either. That's their fatal flaw. I hope it happens quickly enough so we can recover from it.
Well, again, we got some time to think about it, but not that much time. But somebody, somewhere, somehow, better come up with something. Now, I tend to think that the guy to watch, and I know that people think I'm nuts for this, but I have a funny feeling that the guy you got to watch here is Andrew Cuomo.
No.
I'm not saying for president, but I'm saying is somebody who can step in front of this party. Because if you can accept Trump, then we got to get off the shit of he did this and he did that and he did this, and say this is a guy who can beat or fight or show us how to fight Trump. We need street fighters. We don't need flower children right now. Because without the street fighters, there's no flower children. Without the diggers, there would be no hippies.
Well, I know what you're saying, but I think you picked the wrong guy. Whose time has come. The Cuomo boat has left many, 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 many moons ago.
I think he's going to be the next mayor of New York.
Possibly.
I don't think it's even possible. He's like 50% up in the polls. He'd have to make a major blunder.
Well, there you have the Cuomo problem.
Well, yeah, but again, what did he do? So, that eclipses what Trump did. Because the bar has been set low. The bar now is who can get into a street fight with Trump.
And still have girlfriends on his staff.
I don't care if he's got 10 girlfriends on his staff right now anymore. I don't care. I'm worried about saving the country. I'm sure that people didn't say Thomas Jefferson was banging a slave, so we shouldn't listen to what he's got to say.
Trouble is, we did listen to what he had to say. He just never finished saying it because look at the trouble we're in with the structure that they left us with.
So that's what we need right now. I think. Listen, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but I think I'm right. And again, I use Cuomo because he's the one Democrat who I think is a street fighter.
Well, he's going to have a chance of
another Democrat.
If he becomes the mayor of New York, that's the job that's bigger than so many others. He won't have time to do that and also be a national leader.
Well, any other suggestions?
You know what it's like to. I don't have. Well, right now there's just governors, and the way things are going with the insane people with hammers, governors might not be as we might not have as many as we thought we had.
Well, people didn't want to. Josh Shapiro is another guy that you can look at and say he might be ready for the street fight. The name that seems to be getting floated around a lot right now is Barack Obama.
And what would he be?
Well, if Trump figures out a way to run for a third term, that means that Barack Obama can run for a third term. And he's still young enough. How old is Obama? 67, something like that?
Well, it was Obama's presidency that got the Trumpers organized.
Well, maybe the reverse has got to happen now. But if that's the other thing. What do we want as a president? I hear a lot of people saying, well, we have to have a celebrity president. We have to have, so the question then becomes, is that what the office is about? Celebrity, not running the country.
Well, that's what it's about today. But for the solution to begin tomorrow and to last through our lifetimes, we have to have a politician. I'm sorry. It's a job for a politician. That's how it's meant to be.
Yeah. Well.
If you want a celebrity, then sooner or later you're going to get J.D. Vance, who can't make an award on the steps of the Capitol without dropping it twice.
It's not a pretty picture, Michael. I can't say that I'm leaving this show this Wednesday with a whole lot of confidence, enthusiasm.
Well, it was a wacky Wednesday. What did you expect?
Yeah, or feeling that things are going to get light.
You know how this week went? I have a story about how this whole week went. Monday night, couldn't sleep, was up all night. 5 o'clock in the morning, I start to fade away. I go, oh boy, I can feel it coming. I think I feel asleep. There's an earthquake in San Diego. As soon as I close my eyes, Kristen says, hey, wake up, earthquake. And Mother Nature woke me up, and that was it for the rest of the day. No more sleep. No more nappy poo for me.
You don't want to, yeah.
What did you do? Well, I finally got to sleep, and what happened? Mother Nature woke me up.
I got shaken.
Shaking all over.
Get up. Oh, man. Maybe she's trying to tell us something, Mother Nature. Maybe she's trying to tell us something. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do.
You said your piece, and you're right to be worried, but we're going to have to save ourselves somehow, and part of it is stopping the bleeding. I think that's step one, and I can't believe that the populace hasn't risen up more than they have.
It's
all they need is the focus.
I hang out with a few people. We have a little group on Saturday morning, and we get together and we talk about it and try to figure out some solutions before I do the car show. I spend some time with some people, and we do a Zoom call, and we try to at least noodle ideas around of what we can do. And I just haven't heard anybody come up with
a real actionable plan.
Yeah. I mean, if at the very least, and one of the people in the group came up with this a couple of weeks ago, that the Democrats ought to have a show on. We don't have a cable network. The Democrats don't have a cable network like Fox.
That's true.
So the Democrats ought to have a news show, a news thing every week where people who are Democrats can download it, listen to it, watch it, feel it, see it,
and follow their lead.
And follow their lead, but there's nothing. The DNC should have something every week. 11 o'clock on Friday night, hosted by Tom Hanks or whomever. This is what's happening this week. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to go. This is what you need to listen to. Here's the guest on the Sunday shows that we know about. Here is to this. Here is to that. Here's the Congress people that we need to bang on.
I think we need days of action, too, across the nation and all the capitals. We have to get the people in the streets.
You wouldn't know it if you had one. The Democrats need to spend some of the money that they've been sent on a weekly show, on a weekly informational show that says that we are the Democrats, and not this mamby-pamby politically correct crap. I want to see somebody who's going to give me cold hard facts and motivate me.
It's a wacky Wednesday. Vinnie wants a solution, and I don't blame him.
To get something going so that when November rolls around or September rolls around or the primary season rolls around, which isn't that far away,
we're set.
That we're already hitting the ground running. That we're not sitting there going, well, what are we going to do? What's our focus this year? And to keep pounding that message home to people.
And we'll see if the Republicans come up with anything, but we're going to run Trump again. because that's a solution for defeat.
Well, I don't know if it is. We said that last time, right? This time, 4 years ago, we were sitting there saying, "Oh, they'll never run Trump. Trump is dead in the water. He's
But
going to
he,
jail. He's going to be doing this. He's going to leave the country. He's going to do this. He's going to do that." Well, the fucker is president of the United States. So somebody guessed wrong.
well, it's a wacky Wednesday, then. Shall I see you on a fractious Friday?
I will see you on a fractious Friday if I don't blow a gasket beforehand.
Gaskets can be expensive because getting them apart from Canada and Mexico costs us $1,500 more than they used to.
Yeah, my gaskets come from Canada, man. I mean, you know, if I blow a head gasket, I got to go all the way up to Squamish to get another one, and that's turning into an expensive trip.
You were right not to go to Missoula. Let the Montanans who voted out John Tester and now have a Republican idiot for their senator, let them think about it today. Let them stand in a breezy, cold university campus and think about that. Give that a thought or two.
Yeah. Stupid. All right, Mikey. I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise.
What about them Manischewitz?
Oh man, what a wine, huh? Man of peace, love, and Manischewitz.
What a wine. See you, man.
See you, Mikey. Take care. Thank you all for listening as well. We'll see you on Friday morning for another edition of Mikey and Vinnie right here on your social media channels. Have a good one, everybody.